I've been asked to start us off with the first of today's survival tips for the profession. I have spent a lot of time thinking about and working on this topic because in my time in academia, and certainly my time going through the career process as a clinician, I've seen far too many really great students and really wonderful, talented therapists leave the profession, burn out, give up. I think I have an important, if a bit scary, answer. If you want to survive in this field, indeed, if you would like there to continue to be a field of psychotherapy to survive in, you have to become a fighter. Therapists, by and large, are not fighters. And frankly, a lot of us don't want to be. Many of us entered this field precisely because we are uncomfortable with interpersonal conflict. Maybe as a kid you didn't like seeing loved ones fight around the dinner table, so you got very good at listening and resolving conflict, and that's when people started telling you, you'd make a really good therapist. And it's true, that's absolutely a great and necessary skill set for our work. But our reluctance to allow, engage in, or even actively invoke conflict comes off as a lack of courage in situations where that courage is needed or even expected of us. This can be as small scale as cutting off a client who needs to be told firmly, stop. What you're saying is making things worse. Or as large scale as pushing back against the systematic decline of psychotherapy as a sustainable career. It takes courage, and too often we fail at even the most basic test of it. Consumers are sometimes given surveys asking how they chose the mental health treatments they chose and why they either didn't choose or didn't stay with therapy. The most common answers come down to either, I didn't think it would work, or I couldn't find a therapist I liked and trusted. At last fall's Evolution of Psychotherapy conference, Scott Miller described research where consumers preferred addressing emotional issues with psychics over addressing them with therapists, doctors, or friends. The reason for this, Miller said, was that unlike therapists, psychics will provide direct advice without challenging the client's worldview. This is what other health and wellness professionals do too. They provide direct advice from their field's knowledge base. And yet therapists, when a client asks, "What do you think I should do here?" are often unwilling to answer that most basic question. There is a theoretical basis for refusing to answer. I understand that. But to the general public, to that client who came to you for help, it comes across as cowardly, as though we possess some secret knowledge about how to live a better life, and we're hoarding it. Indeed, it represents a very basic failure to stand up for or even say out loud what we believe. Have you ever known someone who, when you asked them, about what they thought, what they believed, what they had been through in life, they refused to tell you? It's irritating. You can't build a meaningful connection with them. It's little wonder, then, that clients don't like us and don't trust us. Many of us don't tell prospective clients who we are and what we do in ways that make us any different from the therapist down the hall or down the street. We don't make clear to clients what we personally value and how that will impact our work with them. So a client who seeks therapy while he is contemplating a divorce usually has no idea whether he will be supported, simply observed, or actively judged by the therapist he chooses. The simple acts of defining ourselves and our values, integrating those into our practices, and speaking our values and knowledge out loud allow clients to connect with us far more deeply than they can when we aim to be blank slates. That's the kind of connection that I want with my clients. And that's the kind of connection that they want with you. Not so that they can be up in your personal business, but so that they can trust you enough to be vulnerable with you. As William Doherty discussed in his book, Soul Searching, we as a profession tend to promote expressive individualism. The idea that everyone should be as happy as they can possibly be right then, so go chase your spirit animal. We promote that over what most clients actually want and seek our help with, which is to find a way to live in accordance with their values, even if in the short term that makes life harder or less happy. Helping them get there means standing up for what we believe in ways that can be scary at first. It might mean telling a client, this thing that you're doing, this thing that you are torn up about and asked for my help with, I understand why you want to do it. But from what I know of the research and from what I know of you, I think you're going to regret it. A lot of therapists would never dream of saying that to a client, even if it were true. But that's exactly the kind of thing our clients want and expect and deserve to hear from us when it's true. If I think my client is about to make a huge mistake in their life, based not just on a hunch, but on my knowledge of them and my knowledge of long-term outcomes and all the stuff I learned about how families function over the long term, the knowledge I got in grad school, and I don't say so, then what the hell is the client paying me for? They came to me to benefit from my knowledge, training, and experience. And if I refuse to give them that benefit, if I am too scared to stand up and say, I am the community's expert in mental and emotional well-being, and this is what I believe as a professional about your case, then I am actively disrespecting my client and actively disregarding the opportunity that my knowledge and training gives me to influence people's lives for the better. The farther I go in my career, the less I think you can or even should survive in this field if you have difficulty with bravery in the face of challenging circumstances. It is a terrible model for clients if you approach issues of conflict, issues where you know that you have the professional, the legal, or the moral high ground, by keeping your voice down while you hope that someone else will actually solve the problem. So let me be clear about what I am asking of you as my colleagues, because I care very deeply about your future individually, and I care about our intertwined future in the profession that we share. Your client who goes on saying hurtful things while their partner is sitting right there needs to be told firmly and by you to stop, that what they are doing is wrong. It's wrong to our field as a whole, and it's wrong to you personally. The insurance company that is violating the law by not paying a claim that they should claim in a reasonable amount of time needs to be told firmly and by you to stop, that what they are doing is wrong, that it's wrong to you personally, and it's wrong to the field as a whole. And the agency that is exploiting early career therapists by charging them for the privilege of volunteering needs to be told firmly and by you to stop, that what they are doing is wrong, that it's wrong to you personally, and it's wrong to the field as a whole. We all need to have the courage to file complaints to the state labor board, to the state licensing board, to the ethics committees of professional associations when it's appropriate. I do understand the level of privilege from which I am speaking here, and I know that that path isn't always right for everyone. But far too often, I hear from therapists who are being mistreated in ways that violate the law, absolutely could do something about it, and choose not to do anything about it, except perhaps complain to their friends. You know what they say when I ask why they don't file a complaint? I didn't want to get them in trouble. My supervisor's so nice. I didn't want to create a problem for them. Why not? Would you tell a client who is being actively harmed that they should let that harm continue as long as the person doing it is nice? When employers, supervisors, insurers, or others have already shown their willingness to break rules, and you and the person before you and the person behind you all show that you are not willing to do anything about it, what possible motivation would those bad actors have to ever do anything differently? They have seen that they can actively disregard their responsibilities, and literally no one is going to stop them. To borrow a phrase from June Jordan, we are the ones we've been waiting for. If you want a better, more sustainable career, if you want to end the exploitation of early career therapists, if you want your uncle and your brother and your supervisor to stop suggesting that massive debt and unrealistic workloads are just the price of admission for this career, if you want to never again hear that the only possible answer to the major systemic problems in how mental health care is delivered is that you should just go get a massage every once in a while, it's up to you. This is your time to act. What I ask of you, not just today and tomorrow, but as a fundamental shift in how you think about your role in this work, is to demonstrate the courage of your convictions, to use every mechanism at your disposal, not just the soft ones, to change the behavior of others when those behaviors are hurtful to a client, to their family, to your colleagues, or to our profession. To recognize that your job of facilitating change asks more of you than listening, observing, and reflecting. It requires forcefully engaging with those who disagree with you, holding your ground, working respectfully to change minds, and holding people's feet to the fire for their behavior when that behavior is wrong. We are at a turning point in this field. The use of psychotherapy is in decline. The burdens we place on new therapists keep ramping up, and not enough of us are stepping up to do anything meaningful about it. And yet there's so much here to fight for. We know how powerful the therapeutic relationship can be in facilitating real and lasting change. We know the impact of that change can last for generations. We know how talented we as therapists can be at speaking up to people in positions of power. And we know how we as therapists hunger to use what we learned in graduate school to create change that goes past minute 51 when the client walks out of your office. We don't change the field by waiting for someone else to solve the problem. We change the field by starting with our own practices, by recognizing what we got into this work for in the first place and taking personal responsibility for making it happen. If you want to survive in this field, you have got to have the courage to fight. Thank you.